Welcome to this presentation on squaring perfect squares trinomials, and we're going to use this rule right here. Okay, so let's say and actually we can take this, right? A plus b times a plus b, and we're going to square it. But before we do that, let's talk about what's happening mathematically. Like 5, if you square 5, you have 5 times 5, that's equal to 25, right? You have 6 squared, that's the same thing as 6 times 6, which is 36. 7 squared, 7 times 7's 49. A squared, well, that's just a times a, which is a squared. So here, we're going to take a plus b, and we're going to multiply by a plus b. And you're going to FOIL it like we've done before. So you're going to have a squared plus ab plus ab plus b squared. Combine our like terms. So you got a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. And there we derived our formula that we're going to use. So when you see a problem, say like x plus 4, well, you can still FOIL it. X plus 4 squared, right? You do x plus 4 times x plus 4, and that would get you x squared plus 4x plus 4x plus 16, which would be x squared plus 8x plus 16. Nothing wrong with doing it that way, which is, it's full. I mean, it's always going to work. But if you memorize this, of course, in math, there's not too much you have to memorize, but this is something that I would recommend memorizing because it could save you some time. You take your x plus 4 here, and you're going to square your first term. X plus, x times x is x squared. You want to take this number here, and you're going to double it. So 4 doubled is 8. You want to stick it with this number here, which in this case is x. You got 8x. Then you want to square your last number. Same answer, right? And all we did is we use this form here. Let's look at another example. And let's go ahead and write a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. And as you're doing these problems, I would keep writing down the formula each time that I do it, just because it's going to help you learn it. So let's do, say, like x plus 2, right? We're going to square it well. And I'm not going to FOIL it out. I'm just going to set it up for you. And so using our formula here, you take your first number, you're going to square it. You're going to take this number here, multiply it by 2 or double it, which would be 4. Take these two numbers, multiply them together, so it'll be 4x plus 4. That's it. Let's maybe look at another example. This one's just going to have a few more variables in it. So let's take 3x plus 2y, and we're going to square it. So, it's just, and I'm just doing this for fun. Writing this over here. And really by fun, I'm also just kind of reinforcing the idea that we're multiplying this binomial by itself. But to use the formula, you take your first square and you want to square it, which would be 9x squared. And multiply these two numbers, which would be 3 times 2. And then you're going to double it, right? So you take your two terms in your parentheses and you multiply them together and you double it. So, so 3x times 2y is 6xy. Then you multiply that by 2, you get 12xy. So we're going to do 12xy, and then you're going to square your last term, which would be 4y squared, and that's your answer. So if you can memorize this, and actually you don't even have to memorize it. If you get a bunch of these problems, if you take this and you derive your formula, and then you take your your special, and and this only works with your perfect square trinomials, right? So it's got to have a, it's got to look like this. Shh. Yes, Calvin. I don't know, but let me finish these up and I'll help you find it, baby. All right, so it's got to have this addition sign, right? If it's got a subtraction sign, it's called the difference of squares. It's going to work a little different. Just make sure that you don't do this. Even smart students will do this. That is not the right answer. So beware of that. Every multiple choice test I've ever seen has got that as, got your a squared plus b squared as your right answer. Remember, it's a squared plus 2ab plus b squared, and that is the perfect square trinomial, and it's the result of squaring a binomial. Have fun with them.